Okay, everybody, we are live, ladies. Wait a minute, I'm doing this. See, because it says starting in 1 second. Now we're going. We are ready to roll right now. Apparently, there was a little something on the bottom of my OBS telling me 5 seconds will start there. Apparently, after I started the streaming button there. So, I guess it's going to be you and I, Arknolia. I guess it's just you and I, Ark, because YR expressed it is he basically he's unable to be reached at this point. I did try to get a hold of him not so long ago, but apparently the story is that he knows nothing about the man and the topic we're discussing, which of course is Dick Wolf, the man behind Law and Order, the Chicago franchise, and a couple other things just as well there. Like
Pretty
what
hard to miss the guy.
exactly? Because the guy's just been about everywhere. In fact, he's even wrote a couple books himself, a couple novels, which I guess were top sellers, if I understand. All right, there. So in a while, I'm going to see if we could get Prince Idol onto the call. So give us a while. But first, we're going to discuss Mr. Wolf himself. He is a producer, executive producer, author, and of course the creator of the Law and Order franchise, which has evolved into 8 series. 8 series, folks. 8 series, believe it or not. And what's kind of cool about it is that each of these series, except for two that didn't do so well, have all done exceptionally very good. We're talking the original, which featured, Jerry Orbach, Sam Waterston, Dennis Ferreira, a couple points there, Dan Florek. And of course, we have Law and Order Special Victims Unit, which is still on the air after all these years. I guess they're going to go into their 25th season. No doubt that show has a huge fan base, no doubt about it. Featuring Mariska Hargitay, Christopher Melani in the years that he was spent there, Danny Pino, Ice-T, the recently deceased Richard Belzer, Dan Florek once again after being moved from the main squad to the Special Victims Unit there. Kelly Giddish, who I guess recently was let go from the show or departed, from what I understand. Many people have appeared on the Law and Order, including the likes of Robin Williams, Adam Driver, who will later become Kylo Ren in the last 3 Star Wars series. They also had had Brooke Shields. They also had many other stars just as well. It's like nowadays, you remember how it was, the thing for celebrities to be on Miami Vice back in the day in the 80s there?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing with Law and Order Special Victims Unit. They had Margaret Cho. They had Alec Baldwin in a couple episodes. Harry Connick Jr. You almost had everybody, needless to say. There was Law and Order Criminal Intent with what it possibly one of the best character actors out there, according to Richie from the Super Ugly Show, Vincent D'Onofrio, who expressed an interest in revamping Criminal Intent not too long ago. The series also had Jeff Goldblum in many episodes as Detective Nichols, which is a kind of a surprising move because Jeff Goldblum was one of these elite actors out there. But then again, Goldblum may be a big fan of Law and Order, so they decided, hey, you want to be a part of the Law and Order world? He probably said yes. Or he probably called them and said, hey, if you need someone to be a part of your Criminal Intent series, look me up, dudes. In which they eventually did. They got a hold of him after D'Onofrio left the series for a good long years there.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy those as much, but they were still decent.
Criminal Intent. It's kind of funny about Criminal Intent because Criminal Intent was basically something like I mentioned before, a super sleuth when it comes to the whereas everything else is like how the trials are conducted, how lawyers and ADAs operate. Well, basically, this is like a Sherlock Holmes or Dr. Watson type of mysteries. Needless to say. Oh, we cannot forget about actor and playwright Eric Bogosian being involved in this series for a good number of years there.
Yeah.
Yep. So, let's talk about Dick Wolf. Dick Wolf, as I mentioned, is let's see if we could look him up on the phone here. Give me a couple minutes. Give him here. But we could start off with the original Law and Order series, which I guess started in 1990, if I'm correct.
Hang on, I can check that.
Go right. I'm going to check on more information about Mr. Wolf himself there because, the guy is intriguing as heck because the man created... September of 1990.
1990.
Ah, nice. I see. And
it went on for 22 years.
Wow, 22 years with the lineup change after lineup change. Captain. Oh, let's not forget Chris Noth, who was starred as Detective Mike Logan, Paul Serrano as one of the other detectives, Anthony Anderson just as well, and we also cannot forget, other actors like let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dick Wolf, yeah, there he is. I found him. Now, 6 police courtroom dramas and 4 international spin-offs. Okay, there. I'm looking on the Wikipedia of the guy there. So it's going to have this guy here. He's also the creator of the Chicago franchise, which features Chicago PD, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire. And he's also the creator and executive producer of FBI franchise, which since 2018 has become a franchise after spinning off 2 additional series. He's 76 years old. My apologies, everybody out there. And he was involved with a couple marriages. He has 5 children. He's also written 4 books. The first nonfiction novel, Law and Order Crime Stories, is a companion to the Law and Order series. The Excerpt, The Execution, and The Ultimatum are works of fiction in a thriller series featuring an NYPD detective named Jeremy Fisk. He has won numerous awards, including an Emmy Award, being inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame, and he also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, he's also, his honors included the Award of Excellence from the Banff Television Festival, the 2002 Creative Achievement Award from NATPE, I'm not too sure what that is. The Anti-Defamation's Lead Distinguished Entertainment Industry Award, the Leadership and Inspiration Award for the Entertainment Industries Council, the Governor's Award by the New York chapter of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, the 1997 Achievement Awards from the Caucus for Producers, Writers, and Directors, the 1998 Television Showman of the Year Award from the Publicists Guild of America, the 2002 Tribute from the Museum of Television and Radio, and the 2003 Special Edgar Award from the Mystery Writers of America. And many of the episodes of Law and Order and Law and Order's Special Victims Unit often were like mysteries at times. You never know which direction this course could take or that course could take. Something could pop out of the blue and have all the detectives like, what? Huh? Who? Really? On March 29th of 2007, Wolf received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2013, he was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. He's also an honorary consul general of Morocco. Monaco. Wow, interesting. And is currently involved in Principality's prestigious annual television festival and its primary liaison with the entertainment community. His political involvement is reported that he contributed to Fred Thompson's campaign for the Republican nomination for president in 2008. The two had worked together since 2002, when Thompson joined the cast of Law and Order playing a district attorney. Fred Thompson's interesting. Now, Community, a sitcom on NBC from 2009 to 2014, had an episode which parodied Law and Order with the title Basic Upping Urology, being a play of his name. Wolf is given a special thanks credit at the end of an episode. In film, he was also a producer of movies like Skateboard, No Man's Land, Masquerade, School Ties, Twin Towers, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, Naked Singularity, 77, which is to be announced. And of course, he was also producer of other programs like Miami Vice, Hill Street Blues, Nasty Boys, Help, Man and Machine, The Human Factor, South Beach, Crime and Punishment, which he was the co-executive producer, New York Undercover, Swift Justice, The White Verdicts, Feds, Players, which featured Ice-T, who later joined Law and Order SVU, Exiled, which is a Law and Order movie from 1998, The Invisible Man, and Corasil SVU, DC on the WB, Deadline, Arrest and Trial, which is on syndication. Of course, Law and Order Criminal Intent, which was on both NBC and USA Network. LA Dragnet, Trial by Jury, which for she lasted one season, for I understand. He's also Law and Order UK. He was involved in that series, believe it or not. We discussed that for a while there. Law and Order Los Angeles, Chicago Fire, and everything that's out there. FBI's Most Wanted, Organized Crime, FBI International, Law and Order Hate Crimes. I didn't know was that's going to be announced. And that's going to be on Peacock pretty soon, the NBC distributed streaming service channel.
Special Victims Unit started in September of 1999 and went on. It is going on for 24 years and is still going.
Yep.
They have well over 500 episodes.
Yes, exactly. And I guess it's approaching the original Law and Order, which had a total combined of 549 or 47 episodes altogether.
The original Law and Order had 456 episodes.
Wow, 56.
So
damn.
they got passed.
Wow. And Special Victim Unit is slowly approaching that?
It passed it. 500
Wow. Damn. Interesting. But then again, go ahead.
And that show, Mariska Hargitay has been in since the very beginning.
Yes, so the credit to her. Not only she's also, by the way, she's also started a foundation. What's it called? The Blessed Heart Foundation. What's it called there? Blah blah blah. I got to look it up once again, folks. There. Let me see.
And Ice-T has been in since season 2.
Yes, credit to Ice-T.
He's been in a long time.
Exactly. Ice-T, by the way, give a lot of credit there because years ago he was being condemned left and right for the Cop Killer song he did with his band Body Count, and here he is playing a cop in not only this series, but also in the Players series that I mentioned. And also, Hargitay, by the way, she is the daughter of the late Jane Mansfield. And also bodybuilder and actor Mickey Hargitay, who even made an appearance in the Special Victims Unit program. Now, let's see. She's 59 years old. She's married to Mr. Peter Herman, which is spelled with two N's at the end of the name, since 2004. They have a few kids together, blah, blah, blah. She has a Golden Globe Award, 2 People's Choice Awards, and a Primetime Emmy Award. She's been portraying the character Olivia Benson from day one. She started out as a detective, and she worked her way up to a sergeant, later to lieutenant, and now she is captain, taking over the spot filled in by Captain Don Cragen, played by Dan Florek. My apologies, everybody there. Now, her early life, she was in the music video "She Loves My Car" by Ronnie Millsap. She was in movies like Ghoulies, crime time drama series called Downtown. She was in Falcon Crest. And outside of acting, she's also I found it right here, the Joyful Heart Foundation, which provides support to people who have been sexually abused. And the Special Victims Unit, by the way, is a unit which located in whichever city it is, whether it's New York, Detroit. As there is another one in Detroit, for I understand, and the other cities as well. They specialize in sexually based crimes, whether it's rape, blackmail, sexual abuse, sexual misconduct. No doubt, Vince McMahon will be a prime target on those guys' lists for sure, with the kind of stuff that he's been being accused of left and right, and the stuff he's been doing for many years. Now, she was crowned. Now, Hargitay also appeared on one of them Lifetime Network TV drama movies. I guess she was playing some sort of an undercover officer. I forgot the name of it. But she's been around for many years. In fact, no doubt her mom and her father are probably looking down on her with such smiles on their face because of all that she has accomplished. No doubt about that. Now, we also got to give credit to one of the stars of the original Law and Order, Sam Waterston. The first time I've heard of this guy was back in the movie called, which is it called? The Killing Fields, where he played, I guess, I forgot most of the storyline, but basically it was about something that was going on in either Thailand or some Asian country. I forgot it was. I got to look that up. And I'll let you have the mic, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one that he did was called Law and Order True Crime, which was 8 episodes about the Menendez brothers.
Oh, wow. Interesting. And that's like a documentary. So that's like a docu-series.
It's kind of a documentary, but not really.
Reenactment.
Right? Yeah, because obviously they didn't have the real Menendez brothers.
Yes.
And then Law and Order Criminal Intent started in 2001. They had 195 episodes.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I got introduced to Law and Order SVU for a while back in Detroit. Basically, I was in the hospital for a foot infection back then in 2013, back in Detroit, and throughout the time I was glued on to the TV up there. Then the USA Network was playing SVU up until about Monday Night Raw would come on, or episodes of NCIS. In fact, it fits to say that the USA Network has become the Law and Order, the Special Victims Unit channel. Because
I don't know if they're still doing that or not.
I know.
But the Ion channel is doing pretty much. Well, I watch them while I'm in dialysis, and they have NCIS, Criminal Minds, uh, Chicago Fire.
Yep.
Trying to
Chicago,
figure out.
Chicago
Right,
Med and PD as well.
Med's not there.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember what's on Wednesday because I'm not there on Wednesday.
Ah,
And then Friday is the new Hawaii 5-0.
I see there. The revamped version, yeah.
Right. And
Okay.
Saturday is SVU.
All right there, yes. All right, Sam Waterston. He has received numerous awards, including a Primetime Emmy Award, Golden Globe Award, Screen Actors Guild Award, as well as an Academy Award, a Tony Award, and a BAFTA Award. His acting career has spanned over 5 decades on stage and on screen. He received the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2010 and was inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame in 2012. Now, his movies include Hamlet in 1975, Measure for Measure in 77, Benefactors in 1980. He starred in numerous productions like Indians in 69. He portrayed Abraham Lincoln on Broadway in called Abe Lincoln in Illinois in 1993, where he received a Tony Award for his Best Actor in a Play nomination. He played in the Great Gatsby in 1974. He was in the movie The Killing Fields in 1984, in which he received a nomination for the Academy for Best Actor. He has also acted in many Woody Allen films, including Interiors, Hannah and Her Sisters, September, Crimes and Misdemeanors, and other notable roles in Rancho Deluxe, Hopscotch, Heaven's Gate, which came out in 1980. Oh, yeah, remember we were discussing that movie.
Yeah.
The Man in the Moon from 1991, Serial Mom from 94 with Kathleen Turner, Nixon in 95 with, I guess, Anthony Hopkins as Tricky Dicky there, Miss Salome, and On the Basics of Sex in 2018. He gained massive stardom portraying 88 Jack McCoy on Law and Order from 1994 to 2010, 2022, and on up. In fact, he had a title role in the NBC miniseries Oppenheimer in 1980, the guy who invented the atomic bomb, which aired in 1982 on the American Playhouse. He also portrayed Abe Lincoln in the miniseries Lincoln in 88, and in the Ken Burns series The Civil War. He also portrayed Charlie Skinner in Aaron Scorin's political drama The Newsroom. He was in Godless in 2017, The Dropout in 2022, and Grace and Frankie from 2015 and 2022. Man, he's been everywhere.
Okay. Another one in the Law and Order franchise you mentioned was L.A.
Yes.
And they only had 22 episodes that aired in 2010 through 2011.
Yeah, what is up with that? Was people not used to Los Angeles version?
I don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know because that was really the only difference.
Yeah.
And then Trial by Jury
Yeah, I remember that one. Go ahead.
was in 2005. They only had 13 episodes.
Really? That's something there.
They had B.B. Newworth in that one as the main ADA.
I see. And BB
And you know
Newworth.
who that is, right?
Yeah, she was in Cheers, and I guess she's married to Danny DeVito.
Oh, no.
No, my bad.
No, that's Rhea Perlman.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I got the two mixed up there.
Hard to do. Okay, Law and Order UK.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the UK usually does anywhere from only 6 to 8 episodes a year because that's just what they do.
I see.
But it ran from 2009 to 2014, but only had 53 episodes.
Yeah. And I saw one of the a couple episodes when I first moved to Texas in 2014. Out of chance, I found it. And I was like, holy cow, this is most interesting. It had a different setup. It had a different theme music there. but it was still basically in the same vein as the original Law and Order. Detectives finding out who did this and bring them in, whoever done it, and then of course the trial. And I guess the
Right.
idea was also to give people outside of the UK how the UK justice system works, which basically is the main intent of Law and Order in general.
Yeah. There was 8 Law and Order franchises.
Yes, 8 of them all together, including the new one, Organized Crime, with Christopher Meloni.
Right. That's still going on.
Yes, and it's still gone because of Mr. Meloni himself. For years, he was involved in Special Victims Unit, playing the partner of Olivia Benson, up until some sort of incident in a squad room where he shot a teenager who was shooting someone else. And apparently feeling overwhelmed with guilt, and plus the other actions that he did in the past that got him in trouble with the internal affairs a few times.
Right.
Basically, he was a hothead with a nasty temper at times there. Needless to say.
Yeah, he was right on the verge a lot of times.
Yes, exactly. So I guess he had to leave. He departed, though unexpectedly, leaving Olivia Benson in tears, which she found out. I remember that emotional scene where Cragen calls in Benson after trial was the guy was found guilty, some so-called ambassador. Elliot sent his papers in, said Cragen. And basically, that's how you send papers inferring that you have left the police force, I guess.
As far as I know.
Yeah. And of course, out of the 10 years later, he pops back up in that episode of SVU to the shock of everybody, including Olivia Benson. But it was teased for a while that he would come back.
Yeah, and when he came back, he was part of an investigation into a car bombing that
Killed his
injured
wife.
his wife. Well, it eventually killed his wife, but injured her severely.
I know, yes.
And it turns out that I guess he was targeted, and that was the reason for
what happened there, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is sad because, man. So he decides to stay in New York with his kids and decided to get involved with the new syndicate called, I guess it explores, basically it goes after the mobsters and other other units like human trafficking and stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess there was, they had a couple. Go ahead.
They have a lot of crossover episodes between.
I was going to mention
pretty
that.
much all of them.
Yes, I was going to mention that. There was a crossover between Chicago PD and SVU, and there was a crossover between all 3 Law and Orders on the same night, started with the original SVU and Organized Crime.
Yeah.
And many people, I can also throw this in that I checked out a couple of fan pages on Facebook devoted to Meloni and Hargitay, and many people were constantly saying, when is Meloni coming back? Is Stabler coming back? And back then it was like, listen, Christopher Meloni is not coming back. He's busy doing other things, like that show Surviving Jack, stints on True Blood. He was in the Man of Steel movie for 2013. Excellent performance there. And I guess he was really persuaded by Dick Wolf and the executives to come back as Elliot Stabler. Or maybe he missed being Elliot Stabler, decided, it's time to put on that detective suit once again there.
Yeah. Now, we'll move to the Chicago series.
Mm-hmm.
I have one listed here, Chicago Code.
Yes.
I don't know if that one's Dick Wolf or not. It lasted 1 year, 13 episodes.
Was it recently, or was it a spin-off, or just something
Don't know
separate?
that. Then we have Chicago Fire, which started in 2012. Still going on, over 226 episodes. and I've seen that in a lot. It's pretty good, pretty good stuff.
So when did Chicago PD started? Was it a year before Chicago
I'm
Fire?
getting to it.
Good, good.
Uh, Next one I got, I'm not sure if this is Dick Wolf or not, but I think it is Chicago Hope.
No, I think that's
Uh,
different one. Let me look it up
Possibly.
there. Let me look it up once again there. Give me a couple minutes there.
Yeah, it started in 1994. I kind of doubt that's Wolf.
All right, there.
141 episodes.
Give me a couple
Then you
minutes there.
then you got one called Chicago Justice, which
Mm.
only lasted 14 episodes.
All right.
Played in 2017. This was Dick Wolf.
Mm.
Had Philip Winchester and his Peter Stone, who eventually moved to SVU
Uh-huh.
from this show.
Yes.
And then you had, I got to it,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago PD,
Yes.
started in 2014,
All right.
195 episodes.
I see there. And let's see. I'm looking up Chicago Hope right now. It featured this well-respected actor, Hector Ilazarando, I guess its name. Alan Arkin as well. I think it's about, what is it? The lives and trials about. Let me look it up there. I think it may be a some of a name goat, because I know I remember hearing that show a long time ago. It was about a private, functional, charitable hospital in Chicago, Illinois. I see. Mandy Patinkin is on this series there. He will later go on
Oh,
to Criminal Minds. And let's not forget the movie Alien Nation years before.
yeah, actually, in Criminal Minds, he was getting antsy about the subject matter, so he left the show.
Ah, I see there.
You know, it was only in the first couple of seasons, I think.
Yeah, I
And
see.
then that's when the bearded guy came in. Forgot his name.
Yeah, I never knew his name myself there, to be exact.
I mean, it's easy enough for me to look up, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I know that Sergeant Hank Voight has been a part of Chicago PD all along,
Mm-hmm.
who is Jason Beige, I suppose,
Uh-huh.
Beghe.
Yes.
And Patrick John Pfluger, Officer Adam Ruzak, Marina Squirciati as Kim Burgess, LaRoyce Hawkins as Kevin Atwater.
Uh-huh. Yes.
These guys have been in this thing all along, and you're talking 195 episodes.
Wow.
Amy Morton is Trudy Platt. She's a desk sergeant, but she plays a pretty important role in the thing.
Right there.
And then, of course, they had a bunch of people that were there off and on, or played for a little while, then left, or came in for a little while and left.
I gotta bring this up there because, me being a Detroit native, I remember seeing this on some of the media outlets. She was apparently a Detroit rape kit backlog was in the national spotlight thanks to an episode called I Am Evidence. And this is from the Detroit Free Press. I gotta tell you this story here. Applause broke out several times Sunday during the sold-out Free P Film Festival screening of a documentary featuring the successful fight against Detroit's massive rape kit backlog. I Am Evidence premiered on the national TV audience on 8 p.m. Monday on HBO. The film gives an unblinking look into the flaws of American justice system that led thousands, tens of thousands of more than rape kits go untested for years. Mariska Hargitay, the Emmy-winning actress from Law & Order SVU, appeared at the Sunday event at the Detroit Film Theater at the Detroit Institute of Arts. She said, "This is like a dream come true. It's so incredibly meaningful because the first shooting of the movie was done here in Detroit 4 years ago. It was a hope and a dream, but I didn't know it was something that we could pull off. The audience didn't let the persistent rain or a chilly weekend dampen their enthusiasm for a chance to see Hargitay in person and find out more about her work on the issue. After the movie, Free Press columnist, Rochelle Riley, led a panel of discussion that included Hargitay, Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy, who's also featured in the documentary, and one of the people who took down Kwame Kilpatrick years back there in the early 2000s, and the directors of the movie, Trish Alisic and Geta Ganbir. I think it's the I can't pronounce the last name. It's spelled Gandbhir. So
Canberra, I suppose.
yeah, I guess so. Maybe so there. Detroit plays a central role in the documentary throughout the story of Worthy's efforts to deal with more than 11,300 untested rape kits that one of her staffers discovered in 2009, languishing untested in the Detroit police storage building. Wow. Oh, shit. So, in fact, he was even mentioned in one of the episodes of SVU, as a matter of fact. Since then, enough money has been raised from groups like the Michigan Women's Foundation to have send those kits for testing. The last 600 of them are in the midst of being processed. So far, 130 rapists have been convicted from this. More than 270 cases are still under investigation, and more than 300 serial sex offenders have been identified. Nice.
Wow.
And the power of this movie is that it examines the crisis of a backlog while also introducing viewers to several rape survivors who were ignored by a justice system that tended to not take such reports seriously enough, especially if it came from women of lower income or of color. It's a tough film to watch at times. Hargitay admitted to the crowd, but she said it's also a tribute that what can be accomplished by the power of bearing witness. She also told filmgoers that her 18-year role as Olivia Benson in the Law and Order drama has inspired many women to confide their own painful experiences to her. And she carries those stories with her every day. Wow. So definitely a 10-gun salute to Mrs. Hargitay, for definitely opening this door open for sure there. I guess when you play a detective on a crime series of that nature, it's going to inspire you either way to take action.
Right.
Because there are a lot of rape cases that were never solved, never investigated, let alone even the rapists out there. There's still plenty of rapists out there doing this kind of shit. And you know what? Rape, we do not condone raping of any sorts, where it's men, women, children, or nothing. You're a rapist, you're a piece of trash. You belong in the gutter. Bottom line.
Yep.
Go ahead, Ark.
Oh,
Go ahead, Dan. I don't want to go off either further about this subject to get straight away from the topic.
well, I kind of have some incidentals on Criminal Minds,
Go right ahead.
although we're not really into this one.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, discussion-wise, I like the show.
Yeah.
Mandy Patinkin was Jason Gideon for 3 seasons, left the show. Then Joe Mantegna came in as David Rossi in season 3 and stayed. And my favorite character was, I'll find him, Matthew Gray Gubler as Dr. Spencer Reed.
Nice.
That guy was unreal.
Interesting.
He was a genius. I mean, a literal genius with a photographic memory. And, I mean, he pretty much knew stuff that other people like, what? You know, he just pretty much had a photographic memory. He retained facts. It was incredible.
Yeah, I know. There's usually a lot of people out there that are just so witty they never people don't realize it until they find out. Wow, these guys are really know what they're doing. Now we got to mention some of the villains of the Law and Order franchise. There, one comes to mind in particular, and I mentioned this for a YouTube channel called The Vile Eye to do an examination on a serial rapist named William Lewis, who kidnaps Olivia Benson for a total apparently 4 days. I never watched those episodes. Basically tortures the hell out of her, but does not rape her. But in the end, she finally breaks free from the handcuffs she's been in for those total of days, and literally beats the living snot out of the guy, screaming her head off there. Ah, bam, bam, bam. And apparently there's supposed to be an episode in the works in which Benson decides to take on this drama and put it to rest once and for all.
Yeah, because she has flashbacks to it a lot.
Yes. That's what sexual assault will do to you. That's what being kidnapped will do to one individual, man or woman. It will cause you to have flashbacks. It'll cause you to not trust people. It'll cause you to be very defensive all the time. Somebody walks up to you, and next thing you know, hey, buddy, you got a cigarette? Boom! Gets a sock in the jaw because they don't know what that person's going to do. Chances are the person will be like, hey, you got a cigarette? No, I don't. Pulls out a knife. What do you got? Else you got there, buddy? That happened in the original Death Wish movie, by the way, there.
Yeah.
And apparently, that, like I said, that episode, I guess it's being worked on pretty soon. I remember reading about it a couple times on the internet.
Well, they're in summer, whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not been a new one since May.
Yeah.
But they're going to start them up again in September.
I see.
We
there.
just don't know where they're going to go with them.
Yeah.
But
before
let me
give props to the actor who portrayed William Lewis, Pablo Schreiber. He's considered one of the best actors, according to Hargitay herself. Many people are complimenting his role as William Lewis. In fact, he did the role so dang well. In fact, he was said at a talk show that he was afraid to go down the street out of fear of people lunging at him, thinking that he was William Lewis, because he played one despicable ass character for shizzle.
Yeah. And another unlikely criminal, in a way, was Benson had a son that she ended up adopting by the name of Noah.
Yes.
From basically a drug person that died.
Pimp.
And Brooke Shield played the girl's mother, and she befriended Hargitay or Benson.
Yes.
And wanted to be the sitter, and got to be the sitter for a while. And there's an episode where she arranged the kidnapping of Noah.
Yes.
So she could take him off. And it's fresh in my mind because I just saw the thing.
I remember seeing the confrontation between those two, yes.
So, she played an unlikely criminal, but she was definitely a criminal.
Yes. But that she had a reason.
Right.
Noah was all that she had left in terms of family.
Right.
And I guess she just wanted to reconnect with the boy, with someone from her who was involved with her sister, a relative.
Daughter. I think
daughter, yes.
Daughter.
Mm-hmm. Either way. But still, the way she did it was just outright wrong, no doubt about that. But then again, she felt like that was the only thing she could do. I mean, Benson is the adoptive legal mother of Noah.
Right.
But in the character, in Shields' character is mine. It doesn't matter. He's my relative, he's my blood, not yours. Blah blah blah. That kind of thing there.
And she played a criminal, but it was an unlikely criminal.
Yes, a desperate one.
Yeah.
an emotional one too, because she was in absolute tears when Hargitay held her back up against the wall as Noah made his escape outside. And she was crying out loud, "He's all I have left." And Benson was trying to console her, shh, shh, it's okay, it's all right. No, it's not all right. Very emotional to watch, but you kind of see where Shields' character was coming from.
And they had I don't remember who the actor was, but they had another two-parter where a very high, I guess he was a Hollywood mogul,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if he was supposed to be Epstein or somebody else. Because they say it's based on fiction, but some of those are awful close to the truth.
So, I'm glad you mentioned that, because you may remember the footage of Jay-Z, his wife, singer Beyonce, and her sister Solange in a hotel elevator, going either up or down, and out of blue, Solange just knocking the crap out of Jay-Z for no reason there. That video went viral on many media outlets. There was a scene where actually in the SVU where a couple of the actors, a couple of the people in the storyline did their exact version of that. And you know where it came from, absolutely there.
But they had a couple of episodes. One of them, it was almost the Epstein story.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it pretty much was close to it. And I don't remember the names of it or any of that stuff. And they had another one where another Hollywood mogul was raping girls as he was screen testing them.
Yep.
And I guess apparently he did it to like 100 of them or something. I don't know.
Weinstein.
But at any rate,
like Weinstein.
Yeah, and he ended up, of course, paying them off and trying to hush them up.
Hush money, yes, exactly.
And a few of them didn't want to do that. And then when he went to trial, a ton of them showed up. Mm-hmm. Me too, so.
Yep, exactly. And there was that one episode where John Stamos from Full House, he was on there playing the villain, but basically he was the guy who purposely got girls pregnant. Just out of the joy of having, getting girls pregnant. Don't you want to expand life? I'm bringing life to everybody out there. In fact, your partner, as he's talking to Stabler in the interrogation room, don't you want to see her, get her pregnant and see that belly of life, spawning on, which Stabler is like, you sick bastard. So he was definitely, of course, Stamos' character ended up getting his in the end. He got stabbed with this knife, by a fish knife, which implodes the fish. Guts blowing out and everything there. I forgot what kind of knife it's called. And in the end, they confront the woman who did this. He's like, they're going to take her in. She's like, let me finish my wine first. Where I'm going, they don't serve wine. So she knew she was going to go to prison. And also, let's not forget John Larroquette, the guy who was on Night Court. He played the defense attorney of this guy who listened to this right-wing radio show host about getting rid of this group of people, get rid of that group of people. Kid gets in his head and starts to do that. He ends up, going put on trial. And finally, at the end, Larroquette's character calls Ice-T's character, Finn, Detective Finn, and he hands him a gun, saying he'll start talking about getting rid of this ethnic group, that ethnic group, and he was getting back to his old ways. And Larroquette's character had to put him out of his misery as he hands the weapon to Finn.
Yeah, there's actually been a lot of pretty memorable episodes.
Yes. Let's not forget Kathy Griffin. She was in the episode playing this bisexual activist. She was involved in that episode a long while back there. And this is before she became did the crazy shit she did regarding Donald Trump. Right. Yes.
Hey, we're nearing our mark.
Man, I know it's. I realize that we've been on the air for about almost an hour here. So I tried. I did. You know what? I should have gotten Prince Idol onto the call. I was supposed to do that to see if he was willing to participate in our discussion. Let me see if I can get anybody on the line here. Let's see if I can get a farm off Ken, see how he's doing to talk to him. It's been a while since we spoke to the dude. It's been a long while. I remember trying to call in his program, Farmhouse Network, a couple of times. I wasn't able to. Give it a couple of minutes. If not, we'll just end the show. Yeah, he's unavailable, unfortunately, there. So, I guess this concludes our TB Memories episode. Our first in such a long time there, since 2020.
Yeah.
Yes, right
And
there.
I guess we'll come up with a topic for Music Maniacs on Wednesday.
Yep, definitely, for sure, man. All right, so definitely. All right, so this concludes our return of TV Memories, saluting Mr. Dick Wolf. Thank you, Mr. Wolf, for all the great stories and programs you have given us throughout the years. And for Arknolia and for myself, everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday